Hey, Mrparka here to review a screener sent to me called Flat Terror Volume 1, I believe it's called, which should be more of them. There's 6 shorts put together, not really an anthology. There's no connective tissue here, but they're just kind of showcase 6 different filmmakers. They range in all different kinds of types of horror movies, and there's from found footage to slasher to ghost story to kind of psychological. So I'll just hop in here and go through the shorts. The first short was actually a special feature on the Shivers Run Down Your Spine Blu-ray, if anybody's seen that anthology, which is kind of a fun movie. This one kind of feels like a just desserts. I think it's called Midnight Kiss, creep show style thing where horrible wife kind of backstabs her husband, and the tables are turned. There's a scene in that one that kind of bothers me when the guy stops and says, "I'm gonna be paying karma for this." I'm just like, really? But I guess it just felt out of place to me. Although it is kind of comic book style, has a filter on it, which is a little distracting. So. Yeah, that one kind of has just a classic revenge tale coming back from the grave, which is very prevalent in EC comic style stuff. One of the shorts is about a group of 4 people trying to win $1 million. They get put in this white room, and essentially they turn on each other. And you guys seen this kind of stuff in Cube or Circle or Saw or something like the Hammer House of Horror Silent Scream with Peter Cushing and Brian Cox. Yeah, this one is kind of like a character study, and of course there's a twist. I kind of enjoyed the twist. Besides that, it's kind of a typical story. All these are very typical of what they are trying to showcase. There's not really anything much different in any of them. But they do sometimes try to break the mold or monotony of what they are kind of doing at times, which is kind of appreciated. But then again, it does seem like I've seen all this kind of stuff before. But then again, you can kind of do that in a short, especially when you're just trying to showcase what you can do. And these are 6 different directors, like I said. But the next one is kind of like a slasher deal. It's definitely just your typical kind of 80s slasher film. What they do is try to give the characters a little bit of character development, which is appreciative, and have some sort of emotional bond between 2 of the characters. They actually shoehorn in some nudity, not shoehorn, but I mean with a slasher you kind of expect it. So there's a little bit of nudity, not many gore effects. The killer definitely seems to have something more going on, and they were kind of hinting at maybe carrying this story on longer. But this one seemed kind of odd. I don't know. It was a YouTube screener, so a lot of the bitrate, the frame rates on a lot of these didn't seem like they matched up to me. I don't know if that's just what the shorts were shot in, and it's kind of hard to match them all together. But this one in particular seemed like the frame rates were a little off. I'm not sure if that is a little jittery, if that's just the version I saw or the actual version of the film, and all the frame rates don't match up. But they all seem to be kind of a little unmatchy at times. But the slasher one, it's kind of typical slasher type deal. And we have a ghost story here, which has like a kind of framing story of a cop coming in the house and it's destroyed, and he's trying to figure out what's going on. The one thing I will say about this is that really doesn't pay off. The cop framing story doesn't really, I guess they're just trying to break monotony of a typical ghost story with the cop framing story and coming in and knowing that something bad has happened, but I don't really see the point of it. Maybe it's just to flesh out, or do the kind of detective storyline and get that down as well, but I don't see the point to it. Essentially, we have a ghost story here about a writer, and he keeps hearing things, and him as a roommate, they kind of face this ghost. The real highlight in this story is the makeup on the ghost. It actually looks really good to me, and it was shot in a way that it looked good. It's a very dark short, so they probably could hide some of the seams very well, but I really like the makeup in that one. I'll give it for that. But I'm not a huge fan of ghost stories in general, and it kind of felt again like typical is what I'll say about a lot of these. I'm necessarily not bad, but just typical. And the next story, I believe, it might be, we have a Christmas slasher film that appeared on Shivers Run Down Your Spine. I think I got them out of order. But essentially, this is kind of a retro slasher movie in a theater. I love the setting. I love the set design, and some of the characters are dressed really fun. My only complaint about this is I think the editing was kind of strange to me. Like, a lot of the jokes didn't seem like they hit their marks, and it seemed like there was a little bit too much error between that. I think I made that complaint earlier. But this one, I think, is probably the most fun and probably most approachable for a lot of people, the throwback kind of deal here. It's about escaped Santa Claus on Christmas, killing people in a movie theater, and that's just fun. That just screams to a lot of fanboy kind of fandom, and it does have a twist, and the classic kind of Christmas horror twist, which I enjoy. And they're playing "And Through the House," which is the kind of, I believe it's supposed to be the Tales from the Crypt episode or Tales from the Crypt movie segment, and it definitely does a shout out to that at the end. So this one probably ends up being my favorite out of the bunch. And the last one is a found footage short. short, which kind of is intermingled. It's this couple going out on a vacation. They seem to be, in love with each other, and it's intermingled with them being attacked. And it looks like they recorded over some of the footage, so it's spliced in. So it creates kind of immediate sympathy. So you see these characters being like loving or being normal or being themselves, and then you'll see them being tortured. So the special effects in here actually look pretty good. And the twist, although the twist is cool, the twist definitely came out of nowhere. It wasn't hinted at. It was kind of just like, we're just going to throw this in there. And of course, they'll be surprised because it came out of nowhere. But that's the twist on that one. And I don't want to give away the twist because it is kind of cool. There's also some idiot cop framing story in here too, where they find the camera and the cops are just dum-dums and they're just like, we're going to do what we want. He's like, come on, man. Just a lot of characters doing dumb things that lead the story on in a lot of these. But that's just, I guess, typical in horror, I guess. Yeah, so that one, I mean, there is times when they kind of have to hit you over the head with it. It seems like the killer's like, oh, I accidentally rewound, so you won't be confused why they're splicing in there. But then again, somebody would be like, I don't get why they're... But, it's just, it is what it is. I don't know whether it's good not to tell the audience what's going on or let them figure it out. They sure didn't tell you the twist or hint at the twist. Maybe they did, maybe I didn't see it. But that's Flat Horror Tears. That's not it. But you guys will see the title above. It's Volume 1. There'll be information below. I believe there's a screening of this coming up, and there'll be all the directors below and actors and things like that. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good one.